Thanks a lot, Ken. Appreciate everyone being here today. Excited to continue the season tomorrow. Have a really good North Texas team coming in here. Giving a quick preview of them. Top 40 defense in the country. They do a terrific job forcing turnovers. From an offensive standpoint, one of the top 15 three-point shooting teams in the country. Really efficient there. I think Coach Hodge does a great job with the design of their offense to take advantage of mismatches. Have a lot of really skilled and talented guards out there on the floor. They're a top 40 offensive rebounding team in the country. Robert Allen is as good an offensive rebounder as we have here in the country, and just have a lot of respect for the way they play. Really physical, tough, and aggressive, and then very skilled with their ability to shoot the ball from three and also create one-on-one off the dribble. As for the opportunity for our team, we're really excited. I thought our players had really good energy and focus yesterday at practice and are thankful and appreciative for the opportunity to continue to play. Really want to invite all our fans to come out tomorrow night. It's an early tip-off at 6 o'clock. Can't correct me if I'm wrong, but students get in free.
Right.
So hope to have a lot of our LSU students out. Early arrival for the game. And with that said, open it up for questions.
Man, how beneficial was it to have a scouting report in your back pocket, if you will, from 4 months ago, and how much has it changed? How much have they changed in the last 4 months?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much the familiarity helps with this one. It's been, I believe, 125 days since we played. I think we're a lot different team from that game. Personnel, rotations, a little different. Style of play has certainly evolved as the season's gone along. Unfortunately, I think they're a lot better team as well from when we played them back in November. But I think there probably is a good thing for our players is having gone through that game, they have immediate respect for the opponent because they know how tough and physical, aggressively they play, how disruptive they are on the defensive end of the floor, their ability, they hit 12 threes in that game in the first matchup against us. So I do think there's some benefits to that familiarity from the first matchup.
All 9 guys have been kind of in the rotation the last couple of weeks. You expect all those guys to be good to go for tomorrow?
I do. A few are a little banged up, just the wear and tear of the season. But all 9 practiced yesterday and practiced well. And as I mentioned there in the beginning, sometimes you get to these postseason tournaments and you worry about the mindset of your players. I've been really pleased. I think our guys are excited and thankful for the opportunity and have practiced accordingly.
Yeah, and just kind of building on that a little bit, just a good showing what that can do, I guess, for you guys going into this off season. Just further momentum. Just to maybe speak on that and just kind of what a good showing would do in this tournament for you guys.
Well, I think it's important, Glenn. I think that every game, though. I've talked about it before. I just think it's such an incredible privilege to get to put that LSU jersey on. I know for me it's a privilege to get to coach here at LSU, and I want our effort and our energy on the court to reflect that every time we get to play. And so that's always the expectation and the standard. It's a great field here in the NIT. I think our players want to continue to play, and they know winning is a requirement for that to happen. So with that said, I think it's really important. And it's a big game feel to us, and that's how we'll approach it.
I think when you guys were playing your best ball, everybody was scoring, you were sharing the ball, scoring a lot more. In the last game, both games against State, Trey seemed to have to take over. I guess, what are you seeing from Tyrell, Jalen, the guys that were really contributing like those extra buckets as far as getting them back involved in the offense?
Yeah, I think our best performances of the season have been when 4 or 5 guys have been in that double-figure range. I think some of that's just a credit to the 2 games you mentioned, being against Mississippi State, how disruptive they were. Some of their physicality certainly bothered us, and our ability to execute on the offensive end.
There are a number of programs that decline bids to the NIT this past couple of days, but you guys accepted it. Why did you accept it, and kind of what you think their rationale is potentially?
Oh, it's a great opportunity for us. I can't speak to the 3 or 4 programs that chose not to play. For us, where we were 23 months ago, to be in a position where we got 9 SEC wins, finishing the top half of the standings. We have some good young talent in our program that want to continue to develop and get better. These opportunities are priceless. Get out here and compete against other top 100 teams in the country. I think for your seniors, it's more opportunities to create value for themselves as they look to go on and start their careers from a professional standpoint. It's a chance to get better and keep building your program. So I wouldn't look at it any other way. I think of the 32 teams in the field, there are 4 teams in it that have more quad 1 wins than we do. So we feel good about where we're at and want to find ways to win. But our whole focus will be, how do we beat North Texas tomorrow night? And I think our guys have done a good job with that these past 24 hours.
Yeah, Coach, what was it like after the Mississippi game with kind of a little uncertainty as to, who would be in the NIT or who would be in the NCAA tournament from the SEC? Just what was it like? And then also you mentioned it with the seniors and, keeping them and having them as leaders going into this.
Well, there was disappointment after the game, especially as hard and as physical as we were able to play in the first half of that game. To have a 7-point lead going into the break. We know we left some opportunities on the court due to the turnovers and some missed free throws there to extend the lead. But after that, after the disappointment of not advancing in the SEC, with the strength of the finish of Mississippi State and Texas A&M, felt really good that they would be in the NCAA tournament, which then put us as the next automatic bid, knowing that we would get to have a home game in the NIT. So certainly some disappointment there, but and as I say all the time, you don't come to LSU, to celebrate going to NITs. It's just the way it is. But for where we're at as a program, it's a big step forward for us. It's an opportunity to keep building and put ourselves in position to get back to the NCAA tournament, which is obviously the ultimate goal for us.
You've touched on it a couple times already. When we talked to Jordan and Trey pre-SEC tournament, they were really excited, talking about playing hot at the right time, I guess. And you talked about their excitement already. What can you take from that experience in Nashville to keep them energized, right, and going forward here?
I don't know there's anything you take from that experience. I think it's more the focus on what we talked about last week, where on Valentine's Day we were in a bad spot. We were 4-7 in the league. We had lost 3 games on the final possession. We had just had that heartbreaking loss after coming all the way back from 20 down against Florida, and guys came together and found ways to win games down the stretch. The 3 straight 1-point wins over, I think it was South Carolina, Kentucky, and Georgia. Got a couple road wins in that stretch, and got ourselves into a position where we get to play in this tournament. And on February 14th, we wouldn't have been playing in this tournament. And so I think, try to build on the things that we were able to do to finally figure out ways to win those close, tight games down the stretch, and carry some of those lessons learned into tournament play here starting tomorrow.
How surprised were you to see North Texas pop up, and were you players excited about it to have another shot? I mean, I know you beat them last time, but still to play the same team. It didn't matter to them.
Yeah, I didn't really have any feelings one way or the other. I do have a lot of respect for Coach Hodge in North Texas, and they're the defending champions of this tournament, with quite a few guys from that team still there. So I think our players remember, although it was 4 months ago, how physical that game was. It was a grinded out possession by possession game. I thought in the first matchup our rim protection was as good as it's been all year. That I think they were 7 to 28 from 2, but they really hurt us from behind the 3-point line, and they continued that all season long as one of the top 15 3-point shooting teams in the country. So I think you get to this point in the season, regardless of who you're playing, there's an excitement, and the fact that the reality is you win, you get to advance and keep playing. You lose, you put your uniforms away, and so you hope that drives our urgency to the forefront, that we are locked in and focused on doing the things we need to do with great discipline to find a way to win tomorrow.
Coach, I think the first matchup, Will had a really good game, and they kind of struggled with his size and some of the other taller players in the squad. Is that a place you think you'd like to attack tomorrow?
Yeah, I thought Will in that first matchup, I believe, was 7 of 14 from the floor and had 16 points. Was really effective around the basket, especially late in the game. Derek Fountain played his most efficient game of the year. I believe he was 14 points, 7 rebounds, and didn't miss a shot in the game. So our front court did have some success there. I think when you try to look for some comparisons, so our players understand the style of play they'll see. From a defensive standpoint, you look at Texas A&M, Mississippi State, some of the aggressive attacking defense when you drive the ball. You have to make good decisions. You have to value every possession because they can turn you over. I mean, they're forcing a turnover almost 20% of their possessions. So 1 out of every 5 trips down the floor, they're turning their opponent over. And quite frankly, that has not been a strength of ours throughout the season. So we know ball security going to be critical for us tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure you know this, but I mean the transfer portal opened today, and just the balancing act maybe is required where you guys are preparing for these postseason games, but also wanting to look at what roster could look like in the future. Just in your experience, how have you been able to kind of balance those two things, and how important is it to get right this offseason?
Yeah, you just got to get it done, Glenn. I mean, it's just the reality of college basketball here in 2024. We're as excited as can be to get to continue playing, and that'll be a huge focus for us. You also have to balance recruiting, but that's no different than any day throughout the year. So obviously with the portal opening up today, there's an urgency there as we go through the next couple months, but I think recruiting in college basketball has become 365 days a year, so nothing really changes for us there.
I thought there was a bit more grind to the NIT, but Kent says if you win, you don't play till Saturday. But is there a mentality that you can adapt in the postseason, a toughness or a grinder mentality of kind of you see the path, and as you said, you only get to keep playing if you win. Does that help like a team really lock in?
I would hope so, Michael. I mean, I think the opponent requires that. They're tough. They're physical. They guard you. They control the tempo of the game. So I think any postseason event requires toughness and discipline. But especially when you look at this North Texas team, we know that we'll have to be at our best to win. And so the reality is when you get to March 19th, you usually don't get many games against bad teams. And so if you're a competitor, that's what you want. And I've always enjoyed that tournament feel, the win or go home type feeling that you have to have in your, not only in the game, but in your preparation to get your team ready. So I think our guys will be locked in and ready to go.